everyone, welcome to this CDISC SDTM tutorial. In this video, we will learn what do you mean by CDISC, SDTM and ADAMS. How we need to create SDTM domains, and whenever we are creating the SDTM domains, what we need to check and what information we need to keep in our mind. Of course, you are right. CDISC stands for Clinical Data Intelligence Standard Consortium. SDTM stands for Study Data Tabulation Model. In this video, you will learn SDTM domains in a simple way with real-life example. Only submit data that you actually collected in your study. For example, if ECG data is present in your study, then only we need to create ECG data. If it is not present, then no need to create an ECG domain. How could you know this information? Means you need to check in the document. Any analysis data must first exist in SDTM. For example, blood pressure in analysis comes from vital sign domain. We need to check VS domain is present in SDTM or not. Always use standard domains like lab and medical history. Create custom domains only when necessary. For example, genetics. How we need to represent genetics in SDTM? With two letters, GN. Every dataset must include required variables. For example, study ID, unique subject ID, domain, sequence. These are the mandatory variables which are present in every domain. Timing variables like date and time help track when data was collected. For example, here we have VSDTC. This is a variable which is present in vital sign domain. It is a character or numeric variable. How could you recognize? At the end, here we have C stands for character variable. Everywhere in STTM domains, how could you check the character variables? At the end, if it denotes for C, then you could easily remember it stands for character variable. If you want a numeric variable, you can check in VS domain, and separate time variable and separate date variable also present in VS domain. Include permissible variables only if relevant to your study. If it is not relevant to your study, then we can exclude. For non-standard data, use supplemental qualified datasets. For example, here we are having device type. This device type variable is not matching according to STM IG datasets. Then in which domain we need to include this variable? You having a doubt? Then we can choose supplemental qualifier dataset, which stands for, at the shortcut we denoted as a SUPP. We call it as a supplemental dataset. When creating a custom domain, follow STM rules and document everything properly. Suppose, for example, whenever you are creating any domain, first of all we need to check the IG. In IG, we need to cross-check the classification of the domains. That domain is belong to any classification. We having different classifications in STTM IG. After checking that domain, how we need to code that domain? We need to cross-check. And which variables we need to assign in this domain? How they have assigned? Each and everything we need to cross-check properly. And remember, whenever you are creating the custom domain, we need to follow the document properly. How we need to code that particular domain? For example, genetics. This genetic domain comes under which classification we have to know, and how we need to code, which letters we need to represent. For example, if you remember, in previous slides we have coded genetics with GN. Okay, and which variables we need to include, those everything we are mentioned in the document. We need to verify the document properly. Do not use variables meant for non-clinical studies in human trials. For example, here we are having spices. This spices variables is mentioned in non-clinical variable. Thank you for watching. This is a simple guide for STM domain. If you want to start your career in clinical SAS, then you can join our live training sections, give a missed call and let's join with us. Thank you.